Welcome to this GiftWorks video. My name is Jonathan Lehman, and this is the 6th video in a 7-part video series on GiftWorks Events. GiftWorks Events is an optional add-in that can be purchased, and it works with any of the versions of the GiftWorks fundraising software from GiftWorks 2008 and later. In the previous 5 videos as part of this video series, I've covered how you can use GiftWorks Events to manage an event. I've been working with an event called the 2009 Winter Banquet. And I've demonstrated how you can set up the basic event information such as the name and set your attendance and dollar goals. How you can use it to design activities or orderable items for your event. And how you can invite people to your event using a participant list. How you can track your event tasks or your to-do lists. How you can create reservations where your donors actually order the activities that you've created, and you can track their payments. And then also how you can track the expenses for your event. And then finally, also some of the follow-up activities you can do to send reminder mailings or thank you mailings, thanking them for attending or sponsoring your events. So now that we have all this information, in this particular video, I'm going to show how that information can become powerful. There's powerful information not just for this single event that we're working with now, but also looking at our event history and some of the reporting and widgets that are available for that. So let me begin by signing into GiftWorks. If you've installed the GiftWorks Events add-in, you will have this additional option on your toolbar, so you can click Events. I'm going to double click on our 2009 Winter Banquet. I'm going to show how I've been showing how this summary information has been growing. I want to explain to you in more detail about where this information comes from. So I'm going to bring up this little chart which describes how this information is calculated. I've referred to this in some of the previous videos, so I thought it would be helpful to review it again. The potential income is determined or calculated by taking all your activities, taking the price of each activity times the number available for each activity, and totaling that. And that's your potential income. Your expected income, it looks at all your reservations, and it takes the actual price times the quantity for all your reserved activities, and that's the income that you expect to receive. The actual income is the total of the paid amount for all your reservations. And simply the outstanding income, or the amount due, is simply your expected income minus your actual income. Your total expenses is simply looks at all the expenses that you've added and adds the total expense amount for all of those. Your net income is then just your actual income minus your total expenses. Sponsorship income, it just looks at your activities that have been reserved, and it takes the reservation actual price times the quantity for all those reserved sponsorship activities. So it's just a subset of your expected income that is for sponsorship activities. Those various dollar amounts of income and expenses and so forth are available throughout various reports and in some widgets and so forth, and provide a lot of flexibility and a lot of information. It's helpful to know how that information is determined. Let's begin by showing some of the reports that you can run for an event. While I'm viewing an event, I have the option that I can click Run a Report, and it gives me a list of reports I can run for a single event. Those reports are also available in the Reports area, but I'm going to show you here from running them from an event. So I can run the event. Let's start with the event summary, which I can also run by clicking Print Summary over here. But let's start by running the event summary. This is a lot like the donor summary within GiftWorks. It basically shows sort of a summary snapshot of your event. Shows all the basic information you set up from the beginning. Shows a lot of these income and expense totals that I talked about. It shows a list of all those that are sponsoring, that have reserved some sort of sponsorship activity. It shows the quantity, the amount. It shows a summary of all your activities and the price for your activities, the amount that were available, how many have been reserved, how many are remaining, whether that was a sponsorship activity. It gives you some summary information about your participants, how many total there are, the number of invited, intended, accepted, and declined. Gives you a summary of all your reservations, and gives you a list of your expenses and tasks. So it just kind of gives you a summary overview of your event. There's a lot of other reports. There's an event participant list. This can be used you might want to print out a list of all those that have accepted your invitation, and you could take that list to your event, and you could check. Remember, we talked about that with marking whether they've attended or not. So prior to your event, the attended would all be no, and you could take this list of all those that accepted, and you can mark them off if they've attended, and then later come back and update your participant list. This is also available in in pie chart, where it shows the participant list by by status. So if I show them all, it shows the participant list by status. And I have several other reports. I have a report for the reservation list by activity. Shows me for each of my activities all the reservations that have been made against them. Shows the price and the quantity, the amount that has been ordered. And I also have just a reservation summary list, which just shows me a reservation at the reservation level. It doesn't show me the individual activities, but shows me the total amount that's expected for those reservations and how much it's been paid. So it's a way of looking at the amount that's still outstanding and who would owe you money. So you could sort this by the amount due. Let's spend a little time on the event activity summary. This is the only place other than viewing an event where it shows you your reservation field information. So it shows you basically a summary of those activities, including your reservation field information. So if you look at each activity, here's our meal tickets. You see that it takes any list box field or any checkbox, and it will summarize all those, the total of the quantity order across, for all the values across all your activities, or all your reservations. So you can see here that we could look and we could see that for the meal tickets, we have 3 chicken meals orders and 3 beef. So it gives you a way of getting some summary information for that. And we can also see that we have 4 people for table 3 and 2 for table 2. And it also gives you detailed information for all those that reservation field information for all the reservations. It does that for each activity. And you can see now how the difference between how we had the meal tickets here, which is the general one, where we have meal ticket table 1 and table 2. So if we decide to set them up like that, we would, if we wanted a total, we could get the total beef and chicken within a table. But if we wanted it across all our tables, we would have to just look at this report and add those up manually. This is the one place where you can get information on the reservation fields outside of viewing the event. Also, we can click on reports, and over in the reports section, there's view event reports, and there's reports at the top at this top section here that give us a lot of information across events. So we can get a list of all our events, and many of these have options to show if you're showing a chart, what you want to show in the chart. So this is actually showing expenses across all my events. I could show potential income. I could show expected income. So you can see how those values provide a lot of information across years, across events. And I can also just print a list. Within this list, I have a lot of information I can add. I can get a lot of information about an event. That same kind of information, such as the potential income, expected income, actual income, all that information here per event, and I can kind of see a history of my different events. Also, various reports here that give various graphing where expected versus actual income across years. A lot of the standard features we can get the top events. What do you consider your top events? Well, how do you want to measure that? Well, we can measure it by our actual income, or we can measure it by the sponsorship income. However we want to measure it. So again, we can measure our top events, which will be this dollar amount based on what I choose here. So lots of flexibility on analysis of our events, how we're doing on our events, which events are more successful, and so forth. One of the other reports I want to show you is the event reservations and donation history by campaign. Remember how we assigned a campaign to our event? We also use that campaign to enter to assign to a particular donation when somebody wanted to give us a donation for our event, but it was really not tied to a specific activity, or was a payment above the activity, the requested amount for that activity. So I could go into this report and I could select our 2009 Winter Banquet campaign, and you can see picking one campaign, the chart's probably not that effective. I could pick, if I was doing across campaigns, that might be effective, but within a particular campaign, I can get a history. This shows me all the reservation activity information, shows me the expected amount, the amount that's still due, so whether or not they've paid that amount. But notice here it also includes that gift when we had a gift that was given to that campaign. So it gives me a total picture that's been contributed either through events or through donations to this campaign. So it's one place you can get an overall picture of that. Now again, keep in mind, you have to be aware of how you're entering your event information or how you're entering donation information. If you've ever entered donations that also matches information that you've put in as reservation dollars, you could have that money counted twice. You just need to be aware of how you're entering that. The final thing I want to show you is on the home page. If I go to home page and go to customize, I have some event widgets that are available. And these can give me some snapshots of some things. some event information right on my homepage. When I sign into GiftWorks, I can see a list of all my upcoming events. So I can see all my events, just see a snapshot of the income and expenses. I can see a pie chart analyzing my income by event, or I can either do it by expenses. I can again choose what I want to report on, and I can choose a time period, so forth. And then this one shows me some history across time. And again, I have choices what I want to show, my income goal, potential income. And this is across events. Give me sort of a snapshot of how I'm doing with my events. So you can see there's lots of powerful information that is available. Once we've been using events and we've been tracking events within GiftWorks events, and we hope you see how this can help you use to manage to learn which events are effective and to manage your event process. We encourage you to watch the final video in this video series, and thanks for watching.